Hello everyone, this is Ashish Sani from Innovate Yourself. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, I am back with an interesting topic for the Rasa Chatbot, and this time I will show you that how you can add the buttons through the custom action. And in fact, also I will show you one very important thing, that is if in case I will be pressing on those buttons, how will I fill the slot values, or let's say how should I trigger the entities along with the values. So that's all that I will be showing you in our today's session. Now let's straightforward go to the project and let's understand how to do the slot filling with the buttons in Rasa Chatbot with the custom actions. So let's get started. Alright, so now you can see we have a custom project, or let's say we have a initial project for Rasa Chatbot. Now we are going to customize it. For the customization, as I have already mentioned, that what I will be doing today is that I will be creating some custom action, and in that custom action I will be triggering some buttons. Plus also I will be doing one more thing, and that is how you will be filling the slots along with the pressing of that button. So in short, when you will be pressing that button, your values will be filled automatically into the slots. So that's all that I will be showing you in today's session. Now let me show you how you're gonna do it. So currently, as you can see, we have a very initial project in which you have a very simple story, and that simple story is like normally the happy or the sad part. So this is the basic project. Now let me customize the project, let me customize the conversation. As per the conversation, what exactly we are going to do is we are going to give user two options. And what will be those two options? Let me tell you. For the understanding purpose, let's do one thing. Let's take an example, and in that example we will be having a conversation, and that conversation will be like, initially we will initialize the chat with saying hello, hi, or something, in short the greet message. Based on that, your chatbot will ask you what do you want to learn, or let's say how may I assist you. So in this way you will get a reply, and for that reply your chatbot will give you one another reply, and that reply will be, what would you like to learn from us? Because I'm assuming that this is my chatbot in which I am having some services that I'm providing to the customer. So based on that, whichever option the user will select, I will be giving you the reply as per that. So this is what exactly I have to do right now. So for doing that, here when the user will say hi and when the bot will give me the reply with the buttons, at this place we will be calling a custom action, and in that custom action we will be having two buttons along with the payloads. In that payloads you will be having the entity values that we will be sending, plus those entity values will be filled into the slots as per the stories that I will be mentioning. So this is how I will be doing it. So now let's continue this conversation, and based on that, whatever will be the reply, I will be replying back. So for that, as you can see, I already have a great reply over here, and based on that you will be getting a reply. And what will be that reply? That reply is, hey, how are you? So let me change it. How may I assist you? Right? Either I can write this, or I can add one more thing over here, right? So currently what I will do is I will simply call this utter greet, where the bot will say, hey, how may I assist you? Along with that, you will be calling some buttons, and those buttons will be coming from the custom action. So that we will introduce into the custom action over here, right? So this is a completely new project, so that's the reason everything is commented right now. So like I will show you that also. So let me go to the stories first of all, and let me remove rest of the stories because I don't want rest of the stories right now. So currently it's like I will initialize the chat, bot will reply with the great reply, and accordingly I want one another action to be called. So let me introduce that action, and in here you need to write the action. Let me say action underscore service, for example, because I am going to ask the user for two options, and whichever option the user will select, I will reply to that, right? So this is how we will have it. And as per this, what will happen? This will be asking you for two options, whether that is for the documentation, whether that is for the video content. So in this way I will be doing it. Now for that, let me do one thing. Let me copy this and let me add it to the domain file, because we need to register it, right? So let me add it here. So I have added this. Along with this, uncomment this part so that we can use this class. Let's say action service, action service. Now in this we will be adding the data. So let me just do this. Now in here we have done this. In the NLU you need to pass two intents right now, because whenever we are pressing on the button, pressing a button simply means you are hitting a payload, or simply you can say you are triggering an intent. So that intent should be existing inside the Rasa chatbot, or let's say inside the NLU part, right? Inside the NLU.yml file. So we need to add them. But firstly, let me add it over here. Now go in here. As I have said that I have to pass the buttons, and as I have said that you will be adding the buttons inside the custom action. So the custom action for the buttons will be written in such a way that that will be something like some JSON data, right? So I will be passing it in that way. For example, currently I am going to pass buttons. So buttons will be written in this way. Like firstly you will be opening the square brackets. So these square brackets are the brackets inside which you will be passing the JSON values. So firstly you will be passing about the first button, secondly you will be passing the second button. So in this way you will be passing it. Now here each curly bracket means you are introducing one button over here, right? So right now I will be passing first button. Let me type it. So here is the payload. Inside the payload you need to define the intent, which intent you are going to trigger, plus what will be the value for the entity that you will be triggering, that should be stored inside the slots. So that will be done over here, right? Plus what will be the second thing? Title, right? So let me add the title over here. So what will be the title right now? So the title will be, let's say for example, blogs. Currently I'm talking about blogs. You can say blogs, you can say documentation. Let's type documentation, right? So in this way we will be doing it, right? So let me do the same thing over here, but this time it will be video content, right? So let me add it, right? So this is what I have done. Now here the thing is that you need to pass the payload for each of the buttons. So firstly let me do one thing. Let me add the first button, and let's say that is docs. I'm giving the name to my intent as docs. Similarly let's do it for video content as well. Let's say slash video. So this will be the payload for that. So now we have added this. Now just copy the name. Now go to NLU. Let's start adding the intent as per that, right? So let me do it over here. Currently I don't need them. So let's do one thing. Let's reuse them, right? So we can use it. Okay, so now I have created two intents, but I need to pass the examples for that in the documentation. I need to pass some let's say message for that. For example, let's say I want to read the docs. Alright, so this is the first thing that I have done. Now in the same way I have to do it for video as well. But along with that, what next thing I have to do over here is that when I will be triggering this intent, it should also trigger the entity. But what is that entity? That I need to specify over here, right? So for example, I have this is my entity. So for that I need to specify that what is the name for that entity. So let's say the name for that is content type, right? For example, this is the name for that, right? Now same thing, let's do it for rest of them as well. Alright, so this is what I have done. Now what happens is when I will be triggering this intent, along with this intent you should also trigger the value for the entity as well. But currently I have added the entity into the intent, but that needs to be triggered along with the payload. So how should I do that? So before that, let me do one thing. Let me first of all add it to the domain file, right? So just go in here and just add it here. Do the same thing for video as well. So right now I haven't done anything for video, so don't worry, I will do the same for here as well. So that I will do right now. Now let me tell you firstly as per the documentation, so that we can directly understand like how we will be doing it for video as well. So if I will show you for docs, or let's say for the documentation, then you will automatically understand that how we will be doing for video as well. So let me show it to you over here. Now go to the actions, and inside this, along with this, you have to pass the values in the similar way like this. So in this way only you have to pass it. So how should I do it? I will simply pass, let's say, alright, so can you see? In this way I have done this. Now the same thing we have to do it for video as well, right? So the same thing we will be doing here. Now here you need to change the value for it. So let's say it will be video. So in this way we will be doing it. We have set up the payload. Now let me customize the thing over here for the NLU part, so that the data can be added as per that. So let me just type it here. Alright, so this is what I have done. So it will be done for both of the things, and currently I am using the same entity name for both of them. So that's the reason the content time is the same name that I have given for both of it, content type, right? So this is what I have done. Now you need to pass it into the domain file. Now go to the domain file. In here just type entities and specify it over here. And as I have mentioned one more thing, that we will be adding the value to the slots as well. So that's the reason I will show you how to add it here. So just specify a type for it. So currently I'm specifying the type as text. So in this way I have the value for this. Now what next? Okay, so this is what I have done. Now this is a part which we have added for this one, for this over here, like for the NLU. Documentation is done, and entity is there, video content is there, video intent is there, and we have the entity for that. Both of the things are done. Now as per this, we need to create a story, right? So firstly let's go for this one. First of all, let's say for docs, yeah, over here. Now here when I will be calling this, what will happen? It will call the two stories. It will give you two results. If you will select the documentation, then you will get a different result. If you will select the video content, it will give you the different result. So both the things are different. So for that, whichever option you will select, you will be calling that particular story. Now let me tell you how to do that. Alright, so right now this is one thing which I have done right now for this. It's not done completely, but that's okay. Okay, so this is what I've done. Now over here, currently what I've done is I have simply created a button, or let's say I've simply created an object that is containing the complete data, but that is not completely let's say added as per the action, because this is just a variable now. So that variable is we are having, but we need to call that variable so that it can act like a button, right? So for that you need to use this dispatcher dot utter message, and in here you have an option that you can add the let's say message over here. So let me add the message over here. So what would you like to learn? No, let's say how would you like to learn? Right, so this is a question which I'm giving. Now along with that you have to pass buttons equal to buttons. Now here this buttons is the variable name which I have passed, right? So what will happen now is when you will call this action, or let's say whenever this action will be called as per the stories, it will give you the reply in the form of buttons, and that buttons will be this. And one more thing is there, that just because we have passed that the entities is this and value for that is this, as per that, just because in the domain file we are specifying it here, and also now we will be adding it to the story, and as per that we will be adding it here as well, so that value that you will get for the entity, that will automatically be stored into the slots. So in this way we are going to do it. So now we have done that step. Now the next thing is, when you will trigger that docs, or let's say when you will trigger that intent, it will give you two values. One is entities, and that value will be stored into the slots. So let me just add it. Alright, so this is one thing. When you will trigger that intent, what will happen is, this intent will be triggered, this entity will be extracted, and this value will be stored into the slots. So this is how you will be doing it. Now one more thing is that what will be the action as per that. So we haven't added that action yet. Now the same thing we need to do over here as well. So let me first of all add this one. So just copy this and add it here, and just modify it as per this. Let's say it will be video, right? So in this way we will be doing it, and as per that, now the next thing is that we need to add the action. So let's add the action over here. What will be the action? We haven't added the actions yet, so let me add them first of all, and that will be added to the domain file for right now, because I don't want to make it a separate thing, right? So let me add it here only. Alright, so now we have added the let's say utter actions from them. So let me add them to the story as well. So firstly, let's add it for the blogs. Same thing, do it for the video content. Alright, so now we have two stories, and both the stories will be working as per the buttons that you have added to the actions.py, or let's say to the custom actions that you have added here. So in this way we will be doing it. Now let's do one thing. The project is finished just because now we can train the model, and we can see that whether these buttons are actually working, plus are they actually going to fill the slot values just because I'm clicking on those buttons or no. So let me just show you how it will work, and will it actually work or no. So let me just train the model first of all. So now go in here and just train it, Rasa train, and once it is done we will also do open it, and this time I will be opening it on Rasa X. So now let's wait for it to finish, and then we will see whether it works or no. And by the time, do one more thing. First of all, go to endpoints.yml, and in here just uncomment these lines, right? Because this will allow your action endpoints to be triggered, or you can say this will allow the action endpoints to be linked to the Rasa X server, right? So that's what it will do. Now wait for it to finish. Alright, so now you can see the Rasa X is up and running, and along with that I have also started the action server. So this is also up and running, and now we can start the conversation as per the stories that we have added over here. And as per the story, you can see we are starting with a greet message. So now let's start the conversation, and before starting the conversation you can also verify that which model you are using, whether you are using the latest or the previous one. In my case I'm using the latest model, and that is active right now. Now let me start the conversation. Let's say hello. Now you can see, hey, how may I assist you? Now based on that, the next action that you're coming, let's say getting is, that is action underscore service, and that is how would you like to learn, which is documentation or the video content. And this buttons I haven't added to the domain file, that is coming as per the action server, and that is this one. It is coming from here, right? So as per this we are calling it, and now for that, now you need to select which option you want to choose so that you can start learning. Now for example, I want to learn through the documentation, so let me click on that. Can you see, like right now the values for the blog, or let's say the values for the slot has been filled, and just because of that you can see like the value is filled over here, and along with that now you're getting a reply as per that. So in this way you can do this thing, right? So this is all about that. And now when you will click on this, here is the link. So just click on this hyperlink. It will redirect you to the website, or let's say to the website where you can learn the documentation, right? So this is about the first thing. Similarly, if you will go in here and if you will start the conversation again, let me start it again. So let me simply say hello, and let's start the conversation again. And this time I will select for the video content. Now click on the video content. Now you can see the content is filled, and in this way you have this. So here is the video content. Now click on the video content. It will redirect you to the YouTube where I have all my video contents that I share with you. So this is all that we can see over here. So can you see? You have the video contents now. Now in this way, what we can do is we can create the document, or let's say we can add the buttons through the custom action, plus we can fill the slot values through the custom action. So this is the complete way how we can do it. Now I hope everything is clear to you, but still if you are facing any difficulties in understanding this topic, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section, and also you can suggest any topic if you want me to make that video for you. So that is all for today's session, and if you have liked this video, do click on the like button, and if you are new to our channel and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do click on the subscribe button so that you do not miss any videos from our channel. So till then, bye bye and happy learning.